Hey, how are y'all doing this afternoon? This is SolSista Therapy Childhood Trauma Podcast. Say hey, girls.
Peace, team.
Hey y'all. Hey.
All right. Sorry we wasn't here last weekend, but it was Mother's Day, so wanted to give all the mothers their time, their energy, and the love, get loved up on and whatnot. Didn't want no distractions. But we back now. And we got two mothers on the squad, so we're going to continue with that, and we're going to honor them today. So give yourselves a round of applause, ladies, for being awesome moms. I'm gonna give y'all the poetry snap. But yes. So since it's a childhood trauma podcast, I would like the ladies, to correlate that with their motherhood, how their children have helped them, to get through those things, the changes that they've made so their children don't have to go, go through the things that they went through. And we're going to hear from a mama's mouth. All right. All right. So which one of y'all want to go first? Flip a coin.
Go ahead, quick.
Don't jump in front of it, saying that once.
Okay, let me tell you my motherhood journey. So I have three beautiful kids. I have two boys and one girl, 10, soon to be 11, 14, and 16. So they're up there. And it scares me because I have my son is 16, and, it kind of dawned on me this year that I'll have a grown man in like 2 years. So it makes me feel old, but that's neither here nor there. But pretty much just going back to just like me being a child myself and to my earliest childhood memories, like I've always been a nurturer. Like I always knew that I would be a mother and I would be a good mother. I just always had so much love like within me that I always just wanted to kind of give. And I know I can just remember, while I'm sitting here thinking about it, I remember when I had stuffed animals, like little bears and rabbits and stuff. And I remember I used to like dress them up and, wrap them in covers and like acting like I had kids, so I've always like had that mother nature instinct in me, to care for something outside of me. So I did become a mother at a very early age. I got pregnant. I wasn't still in high school. Thank God I graduated, walked across the stage, but I did get pregnant in my senior year with my oldest son. 2 years later, I had my daughter, and then of course my son a few years later after that. One thing I can say about being a mother, it definitely matured me at an early age. I think I've always felt older. Like I feel like I've always said I was an old soul. So I've always been like mature for my age. So it definitely matured me in the sense of, putting something else before me and like giving something else or someone else unconditional love. And just helping me to be more patient, especially with my youngest son. I remember, I just remember saying to myself, like, I couldn't deal with the baby that just cries all the time and just so da 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 da. And I promise, as soon as I said that, here comes my youngest son. And when Lord was he a crybaby, and it just really tested my patience. And it just helped me to like be more patient and more understanding. And it just gave me something to pour my love into because like I said, I'm such a loving and caring and affectionate person. And it helped me to be like, I'm not going to do what my mother or my father did to me. I'm going to be sure not to allow my kids to experience the things that I experienced. So it pretty much put me in this mode of like, okay, I have to really do what I can and do what I must to make sure that my kids have a better life than what I had growing up, and they have better experiences such as traveling, and just doing different things outside of just being in this box. the neighborhood and the places that I grew up in, I was always moving. That's one thing I do remember about my childhood. Like we were always moving. I was going to different schools. So I know I wanted them to have some type of stability, and to be in the same place. I mean, I'm not opposed to a child, experiencing and moving here and there, but I do feel like a child does need some type of stability in order for them to grow, and to make friends and different things like that. And that's something that kind of was taken from me, or I just really didn't have that experience. So I did know I wanted stability, not just in the home, but just like in the community and surroundings. So, I mean, just me being a mother, I mean, it's like one of the best experiences ever. They do test my patience a lot of the times, um, all the time, but it's so worth it. Like, I can yell and just go like, oh, whatever. It's just one of those things where you really love something or somebody else other than you unconditionally. Like I can't, like my kids are my best friends. Like they are. We have such a transparent communication. I'm so very honest and blunt, and they are with me. And I really actually want them to be that way. I want them to let me know, like when they're feeling something or something's on their mind. I didn't have that growing up. I had to bottle so many, built up tension and emotions and feelings because of all the stuff I experienced as a child, the abuse, the trauma, just so much. And I didn't have a safe space to be able to vent. And I never want my kids to feel like they can't express their feelings or say how they feel or show their emotions or anything like that, because as a mother, I'm supposed to protect them. I didn't really feel like I got that energy from my mother growing up. I felt like, you know, and again, I have forgiven my mother for myself. I don't put anything on her. Like at the end of the day, me being a mother, I realized that, we're just going through this process. We're humans and we're having a human experience, and we're just trying to figure it out like the next person, and there's no rule or handbook written on how to be a parent. And at the end of the day, I know my mom did with the best that she could. So of course I wish things could have been different, but it all shaped and molded me to be who I am. And because of the experiences I had, is I can now give my children better experiences, a better life. So had I not gone through that, I wouldn't know what it feels like to have this, or to be in a better space, or to be able to give my kids what they deserve or what they need, had I not gone through the rough times when I was a child, and had the abandonment and just all that other stuff. So it kind of sound kind of funny to say it, but I'm grateful for those experiences. So I just really love spending time with my kids, being with them. I remember when they were babies, I used to couldn't wait to be able to know what their personalities would be, who they would be, how they would sound, what they would look like, and now like years later, I'm getting to see it, and it's just so fulfilling. So I love being a mother. I love the journey that I've had. It's been a long and a tough one. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. They're my babies. They are my best friends. And I'm just so excited to see, where things proceed to go, the people they become, the lessons. I pray that they take the lessons that I've taught them, and the things that I've instilled with them. I hope that they take them along their journey. I was actually watching this interview on the Breakfast Club. It was with Ja Rule, and they were talking about like helicopter parents, and kind of hovering over your kids, and with them having money or being in the position they are, would they just like remove all the obstacles for their children? And I really liked what Ja Rule said. Like he was pretty much saying like, no, I wouldn't do that. Like like he was saying how his son is getting into the music business and da da da. And knowing that he has the experience, of course, he's going to assist him and help him, but he's not going to sit there and do everything for him. And of course, Charlemagne and DJ Envy was like, no, I'm going to remove all the obstacles for my kids. And I agree. I'm not going to sit there and baby my kids. I'm going to, take them to the water, but they got to figure it out from there. I feel like you rob your kids of experience, or just anybody, it doesn't matter, it could be a friend or whatever, of their experience in life when you're trying to, put all the pieces in place for. So the only thing you can do as a parent, in my opinion, is kind of just hope that the the lessons and the things that you instilled in your children, that they would take that with them. But they have to live their own life. They have to choose their own path. And who are you to kind of move everything around? Of course, you want to give them a better life. And as a parent, that's what you're supposed to do. But I don't feel like you should dictate everything in their life. So, that's me. I'm gonna let my kids do them. I'm gonna love them regardless, but they gotta find their own way, just like I found my own way. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to save my comments and questions to the end. Okay.
Okay.
So, Misha, you have the floor.
All right, all right. I feel like we're very similar, Quita, in a lot of our upbringings and stuff, and just our souls in general. I I started my motherhood journey at like the age of 5 or 6, because my mom was a single mom, and she, like, I have a little brother a year younger than me, and then one another year younger. 2 years younger than me, and then one like 5 years younger than me, and then I have my baby sister who's 11 years younger than me. And so I kind of, like, while my mom had to work and stuff at a very young age, I became a babysitter. And yeah, I can say that that was a lot of responsibility. It was a lot of responsibility. But I'm so attached to my siblings because I know that I am that figure in their life. And so really it just taught me the selflessness that it takes to be a parent at an early age. So I was 15 when I had my daughter. And basically, I'd never once thought about abortion. Maybe gave adoption a thought for, a week or so. But um, deep down, like, I always knew, like, I was capable of being a great mother, despite the lack of, I guess overall, a lot of people, they're great parents, and their parents are great parents. But because my mother didn't have her mother to show her how to be a stable and great mother, my mother didn't know how to show me that. And so I've been learning and teaching. And for me, being 15 and being pregnant, like, I always tell my daughter, I've always let my daughter know, hey, I'm really young doing this. And so bear with me. I promise my intentions are always pure for you. I want nothing but the best for you. And I always will put you in safe environments and nothing less. But as far as like being perfect, or like compared to your friends whose parents are in their 40s, like, and maybe had different upbringings, it's not going to look the same. Okay, that's the cards you've been dealt. And, we made a pact to do life together each life. And so the amount of overstanding that my daughter has had with me, and the amount of patience that my daughter has had with me as I've grown up, and then, raised her, and everything that I feel like I taught her how to drive at 7. Like, that was maybe a little excessive, but for me, I remember multiple times, like, the child was driving on a horse farm in a BMW with a Shih Tzu. I felt like a really great parent that day. Okay, I was like, and she had the whole car to herself. Like, I was like, I'm doing it, but I realized that it wasn't because I really wanted her to drive. It was because I was afraid that there may be a time where that she needed to know how and didn't. Like, I didn't really learn how to drive till 18. And I think my parents gave me one driving lesson. The rest was for my boyfriend, and at the time. So, um, my daughter, I've maybe raised her up. So she's just as mature as me, if not more, because she's a bit even older soul than me. Like, she was the mother in the last life. And so, she knows a lot of stuff, like from martial arts to, like, cooking. Like, I like constantly am I don't think I'm a helicopter parent, but when it comes to her knowledge, like I speak the truth to her, like I let her know what her McDonald's hamburger was at a very young age, and she got upset with me, but I'm just going off of research. I don't think this is food at all. This is the chemicals, like this may even be cannibalism to a point. Like I told her that, but it was because I did not want her to be 18 and obese because she's addicted and loving McDonald's, and then look back. Like I'd rather have her angry at me now for kind of ruining that part of her childhood because children love McDonald's. I'd rather deal with that now than it be us having to deal with that later in a doctor's office when she's diabetic or something. Because I sat as a medical professional, I sat inside of the doctor's office and would see mother-daughter combos. I will never forget this mother-daughter combo that came in. And the mother was big and obese, but the daughter was like 2 times bigger than the mom, 3 times bigger. And she was only like 15. And then they were talking about what they were going to eat when they left. And they were talking about, eating McDonald's and stuff. And I'm just looking like shame on you in reality. Like I'm not a judgmental person, but I feel like that's low-key assisted suicide. Like when you allow your children to get addicted to toxic foods, poisonous foods, like I had never had a blackberry, a raspberry. I grew up on strawberries, bananas, and pineapples. Like that was about it as far as my fruit went. So like I had to teach myself that. But luckily for my mother, we have great genetics, so none of us have any sicknesses that would, none of us are really sick. So it's like we have a very healthy DNA field, and I'm thankful for that. But like it could be better, because at the end of the day, when we get old in our family, we still get sick just because we've been eating this stuff, And so like it's always been really important to me to teach my daughter and make her aware of the better choices in life. As soon as I learn it, is she's 12 now, she'll be 13 in June. So, I feel like that's the age of coming. Jesus got serious about his path at 13 years old. Yeshua, Yahweh, whatever y'all want to call him, my brother, he got serious about his at 12, he disappeared. And then he came back at what? 30?
33.
33. And that was when he's, about to fight.
Came back the master teacher, didn't
he? Exactly. He went and studied. So I never feel like our people tend to treat their children like they're incompetent in reality. Like they don't understand what the heck is going on. And in reality, I was very aware of all the situations my mom had going on, because I was an older soul and I didn't find toys amusing. I didn't have friends because I was a black sheep, an outcast, So like I always paid attention to the adults and what was going on because I was always around the adults. I wasn't playing with the children most of the time, My daughter's the same way. She finds a lot. She loves her friends now. I'm happy she got her crew, her day ones, her OGs that, her ride or dies, and she loves them. They stay on the phone cracking up all night. But like, I never want her to I don't know. I always just want, like, I always expect that she knows what's going on. No matter how quiet I'm talking in the background. Like, I never take her intelligence for granted. I never underestimate her intelligence. So therefore, I've always just went ahead and been blunt with her. Has that grown her up a little bit more? Yes, but that means she's not naive. She may be a little bit more serious than other 12, 13-year-olds, but that's because she's not going to be blindsided at 21, 24, and realize, whoa, this world is fucked up. That causes mental breakdowns when you've went over 20 years thinking the world was one way, and then you realize they lied to you from programming. So it's like, I didn't want her to experience that because that caused mental breakdowns for me, multiple mental breakdowns for me. That was earth shattering. So I felt like if my mom would have just communicated with me more about the realities of the world and even her world, she didn't have to be that perfect parent. She just had to be genuine, you know, and speak her truth and let us know where she was. You know, she could have communicated with that with us because we were already in a more mature environment anyways. You understand? So recognizing that, that's kind of how I've taken my parenting based off of my childhood traumas, is making sure that my daughter and her knowledge is to the as much knowledge as I have, I feel she deserves to have. You know, as soon as she was competent, and the child's always been competent. Like I call her a little Lady Einstein from like 2 years old. She understands what I'm saying, you know. So like even like we just have when you say transparent, Queen, I understand. We have a very transparent, like she knows all. My daughter is like my best friend, but like she wants to be my friend, but then we both have a clear understanding that it's friend, but it's mommy. And
Yeah, you got to set them boundaries now, because they're sure trample over them.
Boundaries, exactly. We're friends, but as soon as you cross the boundary, I have to go and, you know, change the tone of my voice and show you boss. And we don't, neither one of us like that, because she's really independent. She don't like being told what to do, so she just goes ahead and does what she knows she's supposed to do. You know, like she'll punish her. Like I don't have to punish her. And in reality, like I smacked my daughter's arm once and flicked her in the forehead. A guy I dated in high school, his dad they were boys. That's the difference, I realize now. But he would flick them in the forehead. And I was like, man, I wish I would have got flicked in the forehead. Like, that seems like such a productive way to be like, hey, you're fucking up right now.
Productive.
Like, for real, rather than
I
like,
can it up. My grandmother did that.
You know, exactly.
Don't need no bruise. You get the
Yeah.
point.
Now, when I did it, I felt a little bad because it was a little bit harder than I realized, you know, seeing it as a third party compared to actually doing it. I was like, dang, I know I got hurt out real good. I shook that calcification right off, like right off. So, but, you know, I've never had to really whoop my daughter. And maybe that's because, like, I understood whoopings. Like, I was a really good child. I really didn't get whooped that much because I was a good child. But the times I did get whooped, sometimes it was just out of misplaced anger. And you know, a lot of us, we go to work, we get frustrated, we sit in traffic, get frustrated, you know, bills and stuff. We frustrated adults, okay? And sometimes we come home and we exert that energy onto our children because they're going to take it. They have to take it because they're the children and we're the parents. So I've always tried not to do that with my daughter, you know, and sometimes I do, but because we have a open communication with each other to a certain respect, like she's always been able to tell me, hey mom, like I don't feel like I deserve that right now. I feel like, you know, you over here being a little aggressive with me out of place. Like I didn't do anything. And you know, me being the the healing and currently healing mother that I am, like I don't get mad at her. Like a lot of parents, they do not let their children tell them what they need to be correct, what needs to be, even though their children came from them.
Yep.
Who else would have pure intentions and better knowledge of things that you could do better outside of your children?
Yep.
You know, unless you're in a long-term marriage and you know, you have children after your marriage and your husband knows you just as well. But your children are literally coming from you. Like, you know, like they are created of your essence. And so I will listen to my daughter's constructive criticism before I will listen to a man's most of the time. You know? Because my daughter,
you say that. Interesting
you
you
know?
say that.
And
Yeah,
so
well, if my kids say something, like sometimes I'll be like, well, da, 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 and then my son will be like, well, mom, you, and I'm like, you know, you're right. I'm sorry. Like
yeah,
I apologize. I don't have a problem with apologizing to my children if I did something that I wasn't supposed to do.
right.
Um,
Accountability.
not
It does
always right.
this.
Sometimes, and we are parents think that we're all. Some parents think that they're always right and they can do no wrong, or they try to uphold this
Superior.
posterior, like I'm superior, so even if I'm wrong, I'm right, you know, and that's not cool. And you know, so I have no problem with apologizing to my kids if I'm out of line or if I did something, even if I'm mad in the moment. I sit back and I'll be like, dang, I go and I apologize, but I'll still say like I meant what I said, but I apologize for how I delivered what I said, you know.
Exactly, exactly. And that's the point. It's like it's okay to say you were the one in the wrong to a child. Like, like that's not saying that you're not still the adult, you know?
Mhm. I
So,
wish I had my singing bowl because a message, ding, 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 ding,
yeah,
ding, 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 ding.
you know, being at my great grandmother's funeral, like, it was still that order. Like, I'm about to be 30. Like, all of us are well into our 20s. The children are becoming the parents. We are the parents. We all got children now. So it's like, but the older generations were still trying to treat us like, now, given the kids table this time around had alcohol and some smoke at it, and we was outside vibing with our music, still it's like they still treated it like it was the children's table. And I'm like, but what you don't know is I don't see titles, I see energy and respect. And I don't match it, but I will disconnect from it. So if that means I got to sit to myself for a day or two while y'all do y'all thing, because I don't care to just talk about people my whole time that I'm with y'all, like, so like, yeah, that's something that, like, in the melanin community, especially because there's balances, as we all know, like our non-melanated sisters and brothers, some of them, they get real. Like, I heard one of my friends call her mom a bitch once, and I was like,
First
he's
one.
Italian, so they was just both being Italian at each other.
Tommy and Sarah be the one. They mouths be crazy. They be crazy.
So luckily, like, it's not that. It's never been that. But at the same time, it's really not even that the children are, because I feel like most melanin children are scared, like, we're petrified of our parents. We're very respectful, given what society says about us. From what I've seen being raised, none of my friends really tested their parents or any other adults in the community at all. An adult was an adult.
New generation is a little different.
Yeah, I don't
One's after
my yeah,
little different.
my little sister,
One's after you, little different. Because I'm a
yeah,
few years older than you. You
yeah,
pushing 30, I'm about to push up to 40. They a little different. These little kids. You just
yeah.
I was just
Girl,
watching something.
But you,
No, go ahead.
I'll be like, yeah, I hear some of these kids talking to their mama, or my kids that say what they friends said to their mom and how they talk to them, and just how the attitudes. Like, you is, if I'm wrong, I'm gonna admit when I'm wrong, but it ain't gonna be no disrespect. Okay, that's one thing I do not at all. Your tone, and I tell my kids all the time, they'll say something, and I'll be like one of my son said something one day. I forget what he said, but I said something to him, and my youngest said something. Even my daughter was like, "Boy, you better change your tone," like, because they just look at my kids. I'm not the one to play with
yeah,
me. Like,
Scorpio.
I'm
So
mama and I respect.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
exactly.
coming from a non-mother's perspective, I feel I want to say thank y'all. I'm gonna start with that because you guys are changing the generation. Because me and my mom, we were best friends, but it wasn't intentional. I became my mom's best friend because she didn't have anybody else to talk to when she got into a relationship. So I know a lot about her and what she had going on and things of that nature because she needed an outlet. And she knew that, I wasn't going to have an opinion. She knew I wasn't going to judge. I was just going to listen to her. And she thought that I didn't know what she was talking about, but I did. You know what I'm saying? So we had that closeness. But like I said, it wasn't on purpose. So for me not having children and I want some, these are the steps and the things that I'm going to not do, things I'm going to change, you know what I'm saying, when I do, have the privilege. I am going to have that open communication. I will be telling my child the truth. There will be no tooth fairies. There will be no Santa Claus. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? There will be no, oh, I'm just going to give it to you just because all the other kids, you know what I'm saying, have it. Well, first of all, I'm going to be homeschooling my children anyway.
right. So then you don't have that unrealistic comparison that they go through just because.
Exactly. Because they're watching everybody else around them and children, they're kids. You see a whole, we're trying to figure ourselves out and trying to get with the crowd. Some children, you know what I'm saying, are sociable. Some, got their own thing going on. But most kids who want to be accepted, they, want to have friends and all that, like you said, with the, traveling and stuff like that. So for me, when I have children, I want them to be sociable. I'm a sociable person. I don't think I'm going to give birth to any introverts. I don't think that's going. I don't think you never know. You never know. You never know. But you definitely said you didn't want a Holland child, and you got you one. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We go see. You know what I'm saying?
Because in reality, it's all about the individual soul, and
it is. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. I'm just thinking about because I know me.
Look, Virgos are hell to raise. Okay, Cancers cry a lot. Okay, water
Girl,
signs.
And that's my youngest.
I swear, earth sign.
Well, he's a water sign. That makes sense.
Raise.
Emotional.
I have a
Well, then I guess you gotta wait till the zodiac sign then, because I'm an Aries, so I'm fire. I'm action. I'm all, I'm all about that. But then I just think about, then again, I don't know, because if I have a baby by the person I want to have a baby by, he's definitely an ultra introvert. So let me not say that. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna have. But what I do know is I want my children, you know what I'm saying, to be as informed as possible. I want to truly prepare them for the place that I brought them to. So yeah, there will be no McDonald's. And I'm going to tell them why. That's the one thing that parents don't do. You just tell children no. No, it's because I said so. Instead of actually explaining it to them so they can comprehend it. Mm-hmm. And now it puts them in a space where, okay, that makes sense. So let me not do that, instead of, well, that don't make sense. I don't understand why you don't want me to do this. So let me go and find out.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. So,
because that's how I got pregnant. My mom kept saying I was having sex, and I was like, I'm not having sex. And she's like, every day I come home from hanging out with my girlfriends, and she'd be accusing me of having sex. I was like, you know what, damn it, I'm gonna go see what sex is about, because I'm getting in trouble anyways. I'm already getting the punch. I got that adventure led me to pregnancy.
Yeah.
Well, I hope the viewers are listening. I'm sure there's a few of us, you know what I'm saying, that could relate. No, but for real, because a lot of parents need to, especially in this day and age, because you have both parents, if there is two parents in the home, they're both working.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube and school is raising, our children.
Programming,
yeah.
For negativity, low energy. Right. Like all the cartoons, I was watching a cartoon movie last night, and they randomly just said something so weird, like, so all of the stereotypes about this person, and the this person actually is a bad person, and you can't judge a book by its cover. It like literally said that in one sentence, and I'm like, they say the most fucked up shit in children's cartoons, in children's movies. You know why? Because it's to program them. We know that it's real, or some people don't. A lot of people don't. But we have to be so mindful about the things that we allow our children to intake, from a food level, entertainment level, an educational level, because all of the things in this outside world is to still kill and destroy our children. It is not for
murder, death, kill.
Yeah,
I got that from. That was Demolition Man.
It's like, that's what makes me want to be a helicopter parent. Parent is knowing that 90% of this world does not have my daughter's best interest in mind. And I brought her into this realm. I brought her here. So it's my responsibility. It's not her teacher's responsibility. It's not the doctor's responsibility. It's not her bosses, her friends. It's no one's responsibility but mine, to make sure that she is actually getting the knowledge and preparation she needs to survive this war field, this spiritual war field that she's
I'm glad you said that, because there's a lot of parents who, blame artists and other outside people, and probably try to dictate what other people do so it doesn't influence their children, instead of being the ultimate, representation for your child. Because you can't stop what other people do. I'll give you an example. I got a homeboy. He's married and has a daughter. He does not like Beyonce. And now he dislikes that Chloe girl even more.
Oh, yeah, because,
she's a younger version of her. And actually, she's a millennial. She's a little extra, because Beyonce wasn't like that when she was with Destiny's Child. She and Shane. Yeah, when she was in Destiny's Child, they weren't doing it all like that.
See, but
They wasn't doing it like
what
that.
was is that spirit that's on Beyonce, because I used to be a Beyonce fan, but now I see spirits. I don't see people. So that spirit, that entity that was attached to Beyonce when she went from Beyonce to Sasha Fierce, she passed that down to to Chloe. And you can see it in one of her performances, like where she don't even remember half the stuff that she was doing on the stage.
I bet they got all that rituals.
You
And
know,
that's a whole nother conversation. But
of course,
they
got to be
they do all that now. They do
but
all that.
like when I say it's the end of the world, people do not realize, like, how is there so many Christians who don't recognize Revelations? Revelations is in our face. Like, Revelations is everywhere. That chapter of the Bible is here. And like, so
Well,
you
I'll tell you what.
believe,
It's not the end of the world. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I think
right,
that's
exactly.
probably why people don't. Because when you
Yes.
say the end of the world, everybody thinks the planet's supposed to blow up.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
see, that ain't about to happen.
Yeah.
But what we know to be here is going to be different. Just like 200 years ago, the people who were living in 200 years ago could not fathom what we got going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
That was beyond, you know what I'm saying, consciousness, what we got going on right now. So that just goes for everything. And if we teach our children to understand that, they can grow up as adults, you know what I'm saying? And we really won't have these issues.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the times. Because, yeah, this is definitely, and most Christians that I know say that. Mm-hmm. They say that we are definitely living in Revelations, you know what I'm saying? What's one of those quotes? Father against mother, mother against son, all of that stuff they be saying is gonna go pop off. So yeah, well, it's easy to predict something that you set up because I can only speak for our community, but slavery was the catalyst to mothers and fathers, you know what I'm saying, not being with each other, sisters and brothers and all of that. We were taught, you know what I'm saying, our unity was ripped from us, and it has been systematically pretty much drilled into us not to trust each other, not to unify, not to do all that. So when you read stuff like that, it ain't nothing spooky. It's not some premonition.
Well, apocalypse, apocalypse means the revealing of hidden information.
Well, there you go. So
that's what apocalypse means. It just means that this is the information age, basically. All the things.
2020. There you go. But that ain't got nothing to do with us dying. It don't even got nothing to do with what's
right.
Zombies. It ain't got not to say that that's not plausible. I'm not gonna say that.
But we're living with zombies now. Look at how many people just walk in all their phone, their brain.
You right. Yeah, see, they have these extreme, they give you a visual of what something is. So then when you actually see it in reality, you can't recognize it.
Right.
Because yes, a zombie is not, it doesn't have to necessarily be The Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. You yourself, if you are blindly following somebody and you don't, that's a zombie.
Because a lot of people, the blood or the flesh that the zombie craves, that's success, that's money.
Mm-hmm. The basic instincts, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much. No, absolutely. Like, yeah, everybody's just money hungry. Just want money and money. If it ain't money, you know what I'm saying? If it ain't something that's materialistic or something like that, that's what we chasing. And we want to get into everything. This metaverse is about to make super duper zombies.
Man, you talking about you can literally be inside. You can have a job. You can have a job in this place. Like, you're going to be wearing goggles in your bed for 8 hours while you working a job in a freaking alternate reality. Like, they literally about to put on goggles and see the world in a 3D rather than just going outside and being in the world.
And that's going to, and that's a problem for our children.
That's mind-blowing. That's why I want to start in VR. Yes. I don't judge people. If y'all want to get y'all children that, get them that. But for me personally, I need her to, I already have to deal with her and her cell phone, because now she's moved. She's even more on her cell phone because her and her friends, that's the only time they see each other. I'm not about to literally give her a pair of glasses that I know is going to do nothing but suck her humanity away. They're preparing you for the AI.
This is the age of Aquarius, and Aquarius is all about technology.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Well,
Yeah.
Well, it's good that we have mothers like you who are aware of these things up on this so you can teach your children. So we got a chance. Not everybody's child is going to be a zombie. We're gonna have some woke, we're going to have some folks that want to be in Zion, who
Yo,
want to
you
be in the
guys,
land of the real,
can
who
I just
don't want to
brag?
be in the matrix. No, do you
I
think?
just brag on this young boy. So, I started this job with HR, and I can say I never thought I would be able to fire people. First off, the throat shocker game is getting strong as hell, okay? Because I can do that now. And that's not something I'm proud of. I'm not happy I have to do that. But the fact that I can do that, is big for my communication. But on the flip side, I got to hire the most like well-rounded, incredible 18-year-old who graduates next week yesterday. And when I say like he had his EFA beads on, he knew who was on his head, like he's graduating with great grades and like he's already here at the office, like I'm graduating next week. I'm trying to go ahead and start working. I got a mission. I'm trying to get some stuff done. So there are some parents before this generation. I want to commend those parents, the parents in their 40s, the 50s, their 60s, who actually, because they were hella isolated going through this journey by themselves. Like we actually got each other. We have a little bit more of a community of spiritualists right now.
We do.
Back then, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, to be a spiritualist and walking the path, breaking generational curses and stuff, like I know they were lonely. I know that was a hard road for them. And it was such a breath of fresh air to see a young man at 18 years old who's part of this generation reckless and see that he actually was on the right path. Like I felt like he was brought to me to be like, it's gonna be okay. It's because some of the young ones I've been hiring, they've been off the charts, like they've been wilding. So he was a breath of fresh air. And I want to commend all of the parents before this big spiritual awakening that's happened or that is happening, who was already 10 toes down, changing generational curses and stuff, because, it's appreciated.
That's a fact. I'm going to, piggyback on that. Absolutely. I appreciate it because, again, children are our future. It's them 18-year-olds that's going to be running stuff when we old and they can't do nothing. So people don't understand what you do with your children affects everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You need to really get back to that. It takes a village to raise a child, understanding how connected we really are. And it honestly will make life so much better and so much easier. If we had a community, being a single parent wouldn't even be an issue if we had community. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I want you guys to give us just one quote or something to tell parents, you know what I'm saying, on how to deal with being a mother and dealing and healing from your childhood traumas. Who do you go first since you got your thinking cap on?
I don't know. I guess one thing that I would say about motherhood for me with my children, I would just say be patient with yourself. Um, Enjoy the journey. Don't think too much into it. Just do the best you can because that's all that we can do. And just really be to your children what you would want, what you would have wanted, or what you would want your parents to be to you. Um, so just keep that in mind. Just be patient. You definitely got to have a lot of patience to be a mother. Definitely, and especially having multiple children, multiple personalities, multiple situations. I feel like I'm over the place all the time, and then still having to have time for myself and live my own life. It can be a struggle, but I was built for it. God created me for it, and that's what it is. So I'm grateful that God chose me to be able to trust me with those three souls, to be able to raise them to be who they are meant to be. So I'm just grateful for that. That's just like awesome in itself. So yeah, just be patient, be understanding, be to your children what you will want your parents to be to you, and just have unconditional love.
All right, all right. All right, Queen Misha.
Um,
Last words of wisdom.
think that for me, I would say recognize that your child is its own individual soul. They are their own individual soul on their own individual journey. And the best thing that you can do for them is be a guide, not a dictator, not the boss, not the superior, but their guide through this world. Because that's really what they need from you. On top of, a stable environment, food in their bellies, all the physical stuff. What their soul needs from you is for you to guide them. That means that they will come to you when they are lost if you have created that comfortable and open communication line for them to do that. They will come to you because who else would they trust outside of their parents? You know? And so create that space for them. Make sure that they feel comfortable being vulnerable with you, that you're not going to judge them or condemn them or shame them, but that you're going to love them unconditionally. And if you don't have the advice or the proper advice that they need for the situation, you will lead them to someone who does and has good intentions for them, you know? Um, and parenting doesn't stop at 18.
Sure.
Not stop at 18. Parenting is a lifelong contract that you've created with a soul
Amen.
before this entry, and it's not done until one of y'all are taken out. So don't think that your child being 18 considers that they don't need you anymore. They need you more than ever once they turn 18.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they really need you calling them, checking on them, and being there to guide them. Because at that point they're completely exposed to the world, and if you've not prepared them with the spiritual armor, the knowledge of the spiritual armor that they need to survive, then you have to be there for them as they're figuring it out,
Mm-hmm.
you know so if you don't know how to do that, then focus on your healing from this day forward. You should be focusing on your healing so that you can be the proper parent that you need to for your children, because they deserve that from you, because you agreed to bring them here. And that wasn't you just brought them here. That came with responsibilities and accountabilities that you have to stay on top of. You know, it's a blessing. Like Quita said, it's a blessing. It's an honor to have a soul, that spirit that source gives you to guide in this realm, you know? So like do that and do it. Don't be scared to do it. Like you said, there's no guide, there's no handbook on how to be the perfect parent. It's literally just respecting the soul that you are raising, and you have to learn how to interact and communicate and make that soul feel loved and ready for their world. Like, I'm an earth sign, my daughter's a water sign. We're like this all the time because she's super emotional, I'm super chill. you
Right.
know when her feelings get hurt, she cries a lot.
Yeah.
My feelings get hurt, I get quiet, you know, and when I cry, I want to fight. So our tears mean completely different things in emotional situations. And so you have to be proactive about learning that horoscopes mean something. If you don't want to use it for a relationship, use it for your children. Learn their moon signs and their rising sign. Learn the different things that they like when it comes to their purpose. Invest that time in learning and figuring out the things that they find interesting, so you can help guide them to careers and you know lifelong things they can do. Like, that's your job. That's not the teacher's job. Once again, that's not the doctor's job. It's not the college professor's job. You're supposed to be helping your child find their soul's purpose. That's your job. And if you can't do that, you have to figure out how to do that. That's your responsibility. You know?
I know. I say. Well, are we gonna leave that there? I ain't got shit to say after that. She has spoken. All right. Well, we love y'all. Appreciate y'all's time and energy. Happy belated Mother's Day to all of the awesome mothers out there. I hope you guys got something out of this. I hope Scorpio Sun and Queen Misha gave y'all them gems to either, get your relationships with your children's extra popping, or to switch some things up. All right. We love y'all. We're going to see y'all next Saturday, and let's keep healing. All right.
Peace.
Peace.